Welcome to TaleLearnCode. Here there will be tales about software development, learning from each other, code to build solutions. And now your host, Chad Green.
All right, good evening, everyone. Welcome. I see we got Sean and Locas out there. Welcome. Hope everyone's having an awesome night. Hey there, Ryan. How are you doing this wonderful evening? And Slothpoke, welcome. Hey, everybody. How's everyone doing? Hope everyone's keeping warm. I think most of the United States is frigid right now. So definitely hope everyone is staying warm and staying away from all that snow, right? And hey there, Matthew. How's it going? All right, so back to what we were working on. Tonight, I want to work on the Lego Master application. So, well, that's good to see you won't have the 2-minute streams. I hope I don't have. Of course, Friday night I was having all kinds of internet issues. So hopefully, Dara's out working at it. Well, I hope she's being safe. It's, I know. So here. We probably got, this morning, it looks like we got about 2 inches or so. And then started again a little bit this afternoon, and it's getting ready to start again. I think, look at this radar. I think we're like any minute now it's supposed to start up again. Let me see here. Oops. This one, here we go. Let's see. Yeah, snow heavy at times, at least for 60 minutes. And yeah, that radar, the dark blue is getting ready to hit us right now, right? Or at least around my house. Some of the little areas are been getting it. So, and I wasn't sure because I wasn't really paying attention if they were saying we were going to get 5 to 6 inches total, or 5 to 6 additional inches. But at any rate, 5 to 6 inches is a lot of snow. So that's a lot of snow for a lot of places. It's really a lot of snow for us. Mobile's just not really meant for that type of stuff. All right. Before I get into talking about code, 5 to 8 inches, yeah. So, here we go. I did want to, and I really should have this link already ready to go, but so sure enough, so this week, tonight, Wednesday night, Friday night, we'll be most likely be working on the Lego Master application. Unless, like last week, something came up and I thought it was interesting to work on, which I'll talk a little bit more about the Azure communication services.
Thank you for following. Welcome to TaleLearnCode.
Hey there, new CS. Thank you. Oh, I missed that question. So what do you think about quantitative analytic career path? Or quantitative analytic. I agree with Sean there, right? Anything around data analytics. I think every year data analytics is just going to get bigger and bigger for like the next 10 years. I just don't see it slowing down for quite some time. So, so Thursday night, what I wanted to talk about, I will be having Christos Matkis. He's going to be talking about introduction to identity for developers. Right, so he actually works as a developer advocate on the Microsoft Identity team, and so this is going to be about Microsoft Identity. So, I hope you all attend. Here, I'm going to give a link to that. Sure enough, you see we'll be using a Zoom link, but it will also be broadcasted here on the TaleLearnCode channel. But with that being said, if you attend on Zoom link, you'll be able to chat with Christos and everyone else attending the session. And then afterwards, we stick around and we have a social period, right? And however long people want to stick around for. And I will say tomorrow night, I mean, no promises yet, but I'm going to try to light up the Bricks with Chad channel. Last night I didn't broadcast because I honestly felt like just working and I wasn't working in silence, but I felt like just working with with myself. But I was working on the corner garage, right? So I started building that last night. This one right here. This is what I started building last night. And actually, I've already made a little bit of customization. So like if you look here, like you look at the roads, like I was customizing the roads because mine are a little bit different colors and that type of stuff. So I was working on that last night. Hoping to work on that some tomorrow night. I mean, sure enough, I'm sure I will be working on it. I do plan on streaming that. That'll be on the Bricks with Chad channel. All right, so what I do want to talk about real quick before I get back to Lego Master, which sure enough, I got to figure out where we're at, to be honest with you. But if you go to the try that again. Okay, there we go. Yeah, if you go to the GitHub repository for TaleLearnCode, you will see the project that I was working on last week. This Azure Communication Services. I need to add some descriptions in here. This was a really interesting little bit of discovery work. Did a presentation on what I discovered, and I mean we've decided we're going to take it to the next step. All right. Actually, I'm presenting again tomorrow for another group in the company, to kind of solicit, what exactly we wanted to do. And sure enough, I will be speaking about Azure Communication Service. So we'll be doing some more stuff with it. But March 15th, I don't have the URL for it yet. To be honest with you, I don't even know the name of the user group. I just know who runs it. But I will be speaking March 15th. I'm also speaking. I do have a couple other speaking engagements. Why am I going to speed test? So sure enough, and actually I need to check this. Yeah, like December 15th is already done. So, I need to get the date for this also. I don't know the exact date. So, but next month I'm also speaking for the Dallas and Austin Azure meetup and the Dallas .NET user group. Both times we'll be talking about Cosmos. So Dallas and Azure, Dallas and Austin Azure group. I'll be talking about the different the different APIs within Cosmos, and then for the .NET group, I'll be doing a presentation. Actually, I did not too long ago for Tulsa, where basically how to develop a .NET application using Cosmos. So kind of a theme going on there, right? All right. Well, let's talk about what you'd like me to talk about, and we can put together an abstract. So cool. So I knew that was coming, but so I'll be talking in Tulsa pretty soon too. In a rush, and I actually need to confirm because an Israeli .NET group has also asked me to speak, and I need to get that confirmed. So got some things coming up. Really looking forward to those. In 5 minutes is fine. Yeah, exactly. All right. Before we get over there, let me just show this real quick. Because a couple things since we last spoke. And again, like I said, all the source code is up there on my repository. But one of the things I did here, I got this all cleaned up, And just to give you an idea, so this is Azure Communication Services, which, I mean, honestly, it's a Twitch competitor, not Twitch competitor, a Twilio competitor. Competing against several of the services that Twilio provides, but they're using the Teams framework and infrastructure to provide these services. And so, we did a quick little project here last Wednesday and Friday of how could we receive a message, do something against it, right, and then send a message back, along with the even simpler use case of just sending a message, right? Because we want to do something, right? Just being able to send an SMS message. So we definitely talked about that. So I was going to say here, I thought I opened this project. Just a second here. Let me get this open. Actually, I had it open, and then it was weird. I was doing something real quick, and well, it wasn't really quick in Photoshop, and that decided to Photoshop decided to crash my computer. That was really nice of it. All right, so come on, Visual Studio. Well,
thank you for following. Welcome to TaleLearnCode.
Hey there, Daniel Art. Thank you. I appreciate that. I really do. All right. Boy, Visual Studio. Well, let's see how well Visual Studio will cooperate tonight. All right. So what I was going to show here real quick. So I do have, well, let me start off with. So we have built this off. We've got an interface. You can see we have send SMS, process incoming message. We also have retrieve send message, although ended up I didn't actually need that. It was really just needed as a private method. And then add delivery confirmation. So the idea of a message comes in, right? We'll send so a message comes in. That's this process incoming message. And sure enough, if we look at the implemented code, I just do some really simple logic. All right, and we talked about this today. Really should probably put like the bot framework in front of this, all right, and use like the Q&A maker or something like that. But I just did some real simple, right? Did the text message include like price, pricing, cost, rates, how much, right? Something like that, right? And then we can say, thank you for inquiring about such and such, community. Rental rates can be found at such and such place, right? So send a link, right? But you also notice I'm having this event type, right? And then at the bottom now, to make this simple for a demo, I'm just returning a string with here's what should have happened, right? So that's so we have that. We have this actually uses the send SMS, right? Which it's so funny. This one line of code is how you send a text message, right? Really simple. Give it the from, the to, the message, and then either enable or not enable the delivery port. And there's a cost to that. I forgot what it was, but there is a you do pay for those delivery ports. But like a situation where you have a business sending and receiving messages, you want to know that, right? So you can confirm that at least as far as the carrier was concerned, the message was delivered, right? And then we save it off to table storage, right? So a couple other quick little things I wanted to show. So I talked about, we have this process incoming message inside of this class library. And look, now I have not written unit tests, but I should, right? But again, this is demo purposes. But if we go to the Azure function, right? So Azure Communication Services lets me say, hey, I received a message. let me do something with it. And one of the things I could do with it is fire an Azure function. And so that's what's happening here, right? We're firing this Azure function. Notice there's no real code in here, right? You know, I mean, I do a quick deserialization, all right? Although, honestly, I could have just sent in that straight, all right? Be honest with you, in some of my rules about Azure functions, I probably shouldn't even deserialize it. I probably should just send it the raw string and deserialize it there. And the reasons why I do this, all right? One, I can actually handle error handling better on another area. Although error handling is pretty decent in Azure Functions. But the big reason is what is not very good in Azure Functions is unit testing, right? In all reality, you can't really unit test in Azure Function. You could do integration test, right? But you actually have to run it. You have to actually watch the message come back, and basically you're expecting the message. It's not really a clean way of doing it. So this is part of the reason why I suggest you put the code over there. So I wanted to talk about, well, the other thing I wanted to talk about here, and I'm doing a little bit different with this Azure function, is I am using dependency injection, right? So, you know, I need this SMS service, right? So what I've done, you'll notice, you know, we have a constructor. Number one, this is not what you normally see with an Azure function. Normally, Azure functions are static classes with static methods, right? But they don't have to be, right? So we take the static modifier off, and you know, we, just like any normal time when we're doing dependency injection, have that constructor take in, you know, this SMS service, right? And then you have to actually create the startup method, right? Because it's not there by default. It actually has to inherit from functions startup, right? There's a little bit of a workaround the way how they did this, right? There's this function startup. So I inherit from that, and then it's just like anything else though. After that, right? I configure it, right? I have my configure method, and in here you can see, all right? You know, here I'm getting some settings, but the important part is, you know, I'm, with my builder, I'm adding a singleton service, right? So, so that's the way how you do dependency injection in Azure Functions. It's very much like how you do it in ASP.NET Core, with the single difference that you have to add the startup class, right? So, you know, just a nice little tip there for that. But other than that, I mean, this works, right? And, you know, I can show you here. You can see from the demo I was doing earlier today. Here we go. So here's like my message archive, and like I say, this is what you can see what I was doing. Just a second, I'm trying to see what's going on in my front yard. I have no idea. All right. So here's where you can see the message archive, right? Along with the delivery timestamps and so forth. Well, that's not the delivery. The delivery information, right? Oh, okay. And we don't have delivery information for this first one because that's an incoming message, right? So that was a message that the service received. So there's no received report because it received it, right? So so really interesting stuff. Like I say, I will be, you know, over the next couple weeks, I will be doing a little bit more work on this. One, for work, but two, I'm going to give a presentation about it on March 15th. So looking to do some more stuff with that. All right. So let's go ahead and close that. Now, when we last worked on Lego Master, we were working on getting data loaded, and I know we ran into an issue, and I don't remember, or no, I don't think we ran into an issue. It was just a matter of there's a lot of data load, right? There's a lot of data load. So it does. I think it takes about 25 minutes to load the data. I forgot. I did. Last weekend I spent a little bit of time Saturday, and I was able to get the data loaded. I had to make a couple other enhancements. It was funny. I actually had. I got like halfway through loading the parts, and came up to a problem because something else that wasn't. What was it? Oh, it was So I was cleaning up. I was cleaning up the single quotes. Right. I also needed to clean up the slashes, right? Because there was actually something. There's a coffee cup. Let's see if I can find this real quick. I had it written down, but like I said, I've rebooted the computer. When I say written down, it was sitting on a notepad on the computer. But if I look at, let's see here. Let's see if I can find this. Let's go to parts, coffee cup, and it was something like. Cup. Yeah. This one right here was like halfway through the list of parts. And, so I was cleaning up the single quotes just fine, but that slash was causing me a problem. So, so I had to clean that up. And that's why you see, like, I moved this to a student cleanup, which really that's a better way of doing it anyways. Handle it all in one place. You want one? Yeah, that's pretty darn cool. Does anyone have new? I usually don't buy used. And let's see here. Let me search for in the United States. Wow, $2. That's expensive for these little coffee mugs. Look at this. One person wants $5.20 for one. I might order one. That might make sense to have that somewhere in the Lego City. Just curious now. I get it for 77 cents if I get used. So, yeah, which reminds me. Tell you what, everyone, give me about 30 seconds, or maybe 60 seconds. Just give me a second. I do have something to show off. Hold on a second. So, my music stopped? Oh, okay. It just says out of blank. So, sure enough, let me switch to this camera. So, here is that brick that we were talking about a couple streams ago. I gotta get it out of the little baggie. So here you go. This is a, well, of course that's not gonna show up very well. Let's turn off the filter here real quick. Filters. There we go. So that, if I can get it to focus. There we go. That is a $5 brick. Ordered one, right? Just because. Actually, because we talked about it on the stream. You know, but the problem is one of the buildings requires like 80 of these things, right? And at $5 each, it makes that building very, very expensive. At least to do it accurate, right? All right. C# version. All right. Get back to the work screen here. No building. Yeah, it's that building. It's not even, I gotta admit, it's not even something I like that much as a building. I mean, other than I'd love to have it because, I mean, as a completist, it'd be nice to have, right? Yeah, I mean, look. When you see these prices of these things, and again, if we look, ships the U.S., in the U.S., the cheapest price, and that's a big discount, $800, that's used, and 98% complete, right? The first one is new, is $1,200. What do you think? So yeah, these are, these are the most expensive one. And again, it's because of that one brick. That one brick is what causes that problem. All right. So like I said, we've got everything loaded. If we look here, so here is my big ball of data. So everything is loaded in here. Let's see here. There's 54,163 elements in there, right? So that's how many data elements I had to load. So it does. I want to say like it was taking 20 minutes or something. Again, there are ways I could make it faster, right? I mean, but I didn't need it to be faster, right? That was a one-time load. So what I want to work on now is maintenance of this, right? So we have this catalog, right? But like for example, this data I loaded is like from December, I think it was. Let's see here. Why is that query taking so long? That query should not be taking that long. Well, anyway, there is that query. I don't know why it took so long. Let's see here. I was just going to look this up here real quick. Yeah, so these were, I got these on December 29th, right? So, you know, they're having more Lego sets. Yeah, sure enough, Ryan, this is you know, one of the things I love about graph databases. This is my, hey Hector, yes, we are back to the Lego project. This is what I like to do when I want to show them, like when they say, oh, well, how much could there be to it, right? And then I show them this and say, oh my goodness, that is a lot. I'm like, yes. So what I was going to say, so this data is updated every day. But, you know, I want to do a way to update this. Now, what's not going to make sense, because again, think about it. We're storing this in Cosmos, right? And while Cosmos is a little bit of overkill for this project, again, I wanted something to work as a good demo project for Cosmos. But what would not be good, whether even if this wasn't overkill, maybe all of a sudden we have lots of usage, right, and everything. What we wouldn't want to do on an everyday basis is go through 54,000 objects to see if they are, see if something changed, right? Because there's no deltas, right? I don't get deltas of the changes. I just get new, it's just new downloads of the data, right? So what I was thinking would make sense. I think this is where having a separate SQL database, all right, that kind of stores the raw data, all right, and then we can do a quick comparison, and and then we can see, okay, oh, that changed, that didn't change, all right. Or now I'm thinking about it, or I could just do a simple yeah, you know what? We could just keep the existing data in a CSV file and then do comparisons that way. That'd be one interesting way of doing it. That actually might make more sense. And then I don't have to have a SQL database. I just have to store some CSV files. I think I like that idea. All right, so let's work on that. All right, so I think what we'll do. Okay, so sure enough, this data load, this was, that's the one-time thing, right? And probably need to rename this. I don't even have it in a permanent solution, right? But what I am going to do, at least for now, and we can always move things around later on, we're going to add a new project. And, come on. This time, let's actually do a class library first. And we'll call this well, actually, I'm going to start this as a console app. I'll probably refactor into a class library. But let's just call this daily. Whoops, what am I need to get to the next screen to name it. Daily data load. And again, right now I'm just kind of working on the raw piece of this. We'll probably clean this up a little. Well, not probably. We will clean this up afterwards. All right, so in here, this is going to be very similar to what we did here. Similar but different, right? Actually, the more I'm thinking about it, because a lot of this, I can actually, like all the CSV stuff, really is going to be the same. So, all right, let's go ahead and create our class library. And we're going to call this CSV data. I am going to do .NET 5. And then, let's see here. So we're gonna bring in these models, right? Which really I can't. Well, hold on. First, we're gonna bring in this. What was it? Tiny CSV parser, I think was the name of this thing that we're using. Yes, the Tiny CSV parser. Well, I did forget to mention, I also brought in the shell progress bar. I've shown that before, but it's been a while. So basically it allows me to do like progress bars on the on a console app. I really do like using that. All right, so we're gonna bring in. We're gonna actually bring in all three of these because we're gonna need all three of them. So let's add, not add, manage Nuget packages. Let's go ahead and get gremlin.net because we're going to need that. So we've got that. We're going to bring in tiny CSV parser. And we're going to bring in shell progress bar. Okay. And then let me go in here. You know what? Yeah, this one. TaleLearnCode .legomaster.csv data. Okay, just getting that name correctly. All right, then pretty much be copying most of this, all of that. So we're copying all of that data, or not data, but classes. And then we're going to go fix go ahead and fix our namespaces here. And you know, I'm doing this, it'd probably be simpler to do a find and replace. But I like punishing myself. Why not? All right. So I still see a couple things. Color, did I not? Nope, I skipped color. So again, it probably would have been better to, there we go. So there's all that. Let's actually do a little bit more cleanup here. So let's actually add a new folder. Let's call this models. Oops. Just getting a little bit, this a little bit cleaner here. Since I'm going to do that, I'm going to move I'm going to add this into a models namespace. Now it makes more sense to do this individually. Okay, so we're going to have that, and then we're going to have folder of mappers. And these. Okay, whoops. And then the other problem is it wants, come on. There we go. It needs this using statement. Okay, save all that. And the one last thing I want to do here, I really don't like this name. Let's call this category mapper. It's just semantics, but I just kind of like this better. Color mapper. Inventory mapper. Inventory part mapper. Part mapper. Set mapper. And then finally theme mapper. Okay. Save all that, close all that. All right, now we got this ready to go. A little bit cleaner. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna have a method in here, add class. And what did I, properties. I said CSV data is a namespace. This is where naming sucks. Let's call this we'll call this load data. And so I'm going to do, hold on one second. Let me do this real quick.
Thank you for following. Welcome to TaleLearnCode.
Hey there, Snap. I know I mispronounced that, but thank you. I appreciate that follow. All right, so let's do. We're gonna have some values in here. We're gonna need a Cosmos host. Oh, I'm sorry. There should be a read-only string. Cosmos host URL. Public read-only string. Actually, int Cosmos port. Public read-only win Cosmos enable SSL. read only primary key. Primary key. What am I using that for? Oh, never mind. I'm thinking something a different kind of primary key. Read only Cosmos account key. And read only string. Cosmos database. Now, really, now I see this. Everything is Cosmos, but might not be. I think we're going to be adding some things. Although I will say, you know, what I think would be nicer to do in here. Let's add a class called Cosmos Settings. And then this way we can send this all together, right? I think this will be nice. Container. Okay. And then here instead we'll have public read only Cosmos. Settings, Cosmos settings. Okay. And we're going to leave it there right now. I think I'm going to add in a blob storage, but we'll come back to that. We'll first get it to work locally, and then I think I'm going to tie in blob storage. So now we'll create our constructor.
Thank you for following. Welcome to TaleLearnCode.
Hey there, Honey. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Appreciate that. All right. Okay. There's our constructor. All right. So now we can start doing some work. So we're going to have a public string. Public void. I don't think it's a return thing. So we'll do load daily updates. Daily. Let's just say load daily updates. And in here, we're gonna pass this in a string of yeah, for right now, file path. Right now it'll be the path where the files are at. Yeah. So then, let's see here. Let's go back to the one we wrote before. In here, let's see here, just reminding myself what we did. We create that link, or not create the link, we connect to Gremlin. That's all the connection information. Get a Gremlin client. Okay, so let's copy this.
Thank you for following. Welcome to TaleLearnCode.
Hey there, Tarek AQ, or AK, sorry. All right, so we're gonna have a private Gremlin client. And so for those who hadn't watched before, so Gremlin is just another type of database. It's a graph database. Basically allows me to represent data graphically, right? It's using graph theory. And it's one of the different data types we can use with Cosmos. Right? So we're gonna get Gremlin client. And we're gonna make a couple changes here. So we call this Cosmos settings. So now this, I will say right here, this code here is different than what you would normally see with Cosmos. All right. Well, I should rephrase this. If you connect to Cosmos, like through most Cosmos databases are SQL API, and sure enough, there's a pretty big difference here on the way how you connect here, as opposed to the way you connect using the Cosmos SQL API. Now, I've heard rumors, and this isn't NDA, but I've heard rumors that they're going to build an Azure SDK for the Gremlin database. But I will say this: I heard that almost a year ago, and I haven't really heard anything more about it. So I don't know. It was stated in a public forum, but I have a feeling that I kind of, I don't know if it died or what, but definitely haven't seen anything about it recently. All right, and then we're going to return the Gremlin client. Whoops. In here, return Gremlin client. There we go. And sure enough, so why am I doing this here? Well, a couple of reasons. Why am I putting this in a separate method? Well, a couple of reasons. One, there's actually several different steps I have to take in order to connect to this database, right? I got to create my container link. I don't need this console line there. I need to basically connect to the Gremlin server. And then there's some connection pool settings, web socket configurations I need to make, and then finally I get to the point where I'm connecting to the Gremlin client. This is why I really do hope that they do make an Azure SDK component for this, because part of the goal with the Azure SDK, and this might be one of the reasons why it's not been done yet for Gremlin, is to make this a whole lot simpler, right? With the Gremlin SDK, with the Azure SDK, I should be able to do all this in 2 lines of code. And it'll be basically the same way as how I connect to a SQL API. A little bit different information, right? Maybe not even that. It's really just a database container. It's the same thing I have to pass the SQL API. So one, we're doing this because just kind of bundling that code up, because there's a bunch of it. The other part is right now we're loading daily, but eventually I'm going to do the initial load, right? And who knows? Maybe there'll be.
Thank you for following. Welcome to TaleLearnCode.
Hey there, Last Mohican. Thank you for that follow. Yeah, so we might have others, and honestly, later I'll probably add this get gremlin client to a helper place and centralize even more, right? Right, so we're gonna do that. So we're gonna have we'll do a gremlin client equals get gremlin client. And sure enough, there is also the key point. This is doing the using, right? So that using will carry forward. I really like the way how this new method works with using statements. All right, so now I have that. So here I was hard coding the file path. Oh, and then, okay. And then this is stuff I have set up for. Well, hey, last week. So this is C#. All right. So, you know, so this, in here, you'll see some similarities. You'll see some things are a lot different. But personally, I really like C#. Yeah, Python definitely has its place. I mean, you know, there's no question about it. All right, you know, actually, a lot of this is going to be similar here. So we're going to have. I'm actually going to copy these two lines. So in here, there we go. I was expecting I need to put my using statement. So again, this is this shell progress bar, you know, which allows me to have a progress bar within the console window. It's really neat looking. You'll get to see that here in a moment. I do need a couple of methods here. These are just creating my options, right? So tell it, like, you know, the main one, it'll be a yellow with a dark yellow background, that kind of stuff, right? So yeah, so just like a regular progress bar, right? We give it the number of steps. I can give it a message. I don't have to give it a message. And then you know, the options, right? All right, and then sure enough, then we just start processing through each one of these, right? So again, okay, there's gonna be some things we're gonna do the same, some things we're not. All right, actually in here we're gonna have awesome, yeah, and that is the thing. You know, if you have the ability, if you have the time and the ability, learn as many languages as you can. All right, it will definitely make you a better developer. Because you'll see, you know the way how Python does things, the way how C# does things, and you'll be able to compare that, right? And it'll make you better. It'll make you, you know, it can make, even if Python is your first thing, and then you do C#, it'll make you a better C# developer, right? Because you also know Python, and then vice versa, right? When you go back to doing some Python, you know, knowing some things, the way how C# does it, will make you think, oh, well, maybe I could do it a little bit differently, right? All right, so one of the things I do want to do in here, we're going to have in here, we're going to have existing data file path, and we're going to have a new data file path, right? Again, I think I'm going to move this existing into Azure storage, but right now I'm just going to assume that I'm passing in every time, and that you know, I have the two different files. What changes the basically if I check code in, right? So that's actually so what's showing up here. So 0 references shows that nothing is references. So like here, you see down here, you see the one reference, and sure enough, if I click on it, it tells me what's referencing, right? The changes is looking at Git, and it's actually doing. I'm pretty sure that is part of Visual Studio, but I could be wrong. Yeah, so this shows me how many changes, and then like this shows me the author. So, like for example, here if I go to here, you'll see in here, all right? So like this method, submit request. Now, grant you, I'm the only one working on this, all right? But you can see, last change 11 days ago. I click on this, I can see a chart. Yeah, thank you, Loka. Yeah, it's CodeLens. And okay, yeah, there is. So you can turn CodeLens on and off. I think it's turned on by default, but again, I could be wrong. One of the hard parts about settings getting, passed along, I don't know what some of these settings I set a long time ago. Why not? Sure enough, this is Visual Studio. Regular Visual Studio as opposed to Visual Studio Code. I think there is something similar that is Visual Studio Code, but that would definitely be through an extension. And this is what I was looking at. I knew there was something in CodeLens. So CodeLens is in all editions, but the source control indicators are not available so like what you were asking about, right? The Chad Green 11 days, one author, 2 changes. So if you go to the free edition of Visual Studio, the community edition, it is not, those 2 attributes are not included. All right, so, okay. Yeah, we have our overall steps. Okay, yeah, now. That's right, I was looking at this. So we're going to start with colors. Okay, a couple other things I'm doing here. I'm going to have... Now this can't be read-only. We'll have... Well, there you go. Thank you, nerds, for that. And admittedly, I do not use VS Code much. And I rarely use it for C# code. Oh, okay, Sarah. Well, there are definitely some differences, as I'm sure you're starting to see. So I've been using Visual Studio.
Thank you for following. Welcome to TaleLearnCode.
Hey, they're so sorry. Thank you. I've been using Visual Studio since what was it? 2005? No, 1995. Yeah, when Visual Studio actually became a product. So I'm just really used to Visual Studio. So Visual Studio Code is really nice. There's nothing wrong with it. But this is the tool I'm used to. And I will say, I am on the Enterprise Edition of Visual Studio, which is like the most feature rich, right? It's the one with the most features. But this is also what I use for my daily work and all that type of stuff. All right, so we're going to have the existing file path and the new data file path. And then I'm going to go ahead and set those values. This will be easier than me passing this information all over the place. Okay. So now private void. Just looking at something here. Oh yeah. Well. Yeah. Okay. There is a okay. That is different. Okay. So private void. Async so can't be private void. Private async task. Come on. And then this will be we'll do update colors. And then the thing I do want to pass in here is a progress bar. Oh, and the Gremlin client. Yeah, that's right. Okay. I'm going to move this over here so I can reference it fine. So then the first thing we're doing here is we're going to say so how many we're gonna have this constant for current step processes. I'm not sure how many it's going to be. I'll just put 3 for the moment. Then I'm going to create a child progress bar. Why? That should be a using child progress bar. Main progress bar dot spawn. Oh, so sorry, Sarah, I didn't see the message before. So this is what I've been calling Lego Master, right? So this is basically a way to keep track of the Lego parts you own, right? You know, with the idea of if I want to build something, right? I'm working on something I designed or something else someone else designed. I can see, do I have the parts I need? What parts do I need to order? Where are those parts, right? Like I can label my storage bins and that type of stuff. So that's the purpose of this. And kind of keeping track of your parts and your sets. If only coding was, yeah. And then if only coding was as easy as putting together Lego. Yeah. Lego's not always easy. Some of the things with Lego could be, as anyone who's watched my streams has known, I've made humongous mistakes building Lego. Actually, it's funny. Yes, like an inventory system. And sure enough, how do you enter parts you have? That's a good question. We haven't gotten to that yet. Right now, I'm working on getting the catalog, right? So all the different parts that Lego makes or has made, right? And so we've got it. Let's see here. So like this ball of dots, that is all of the, that's a representation of all the parts and colors and everything that Lego makes. So we've got that done. And what I'm working on right now is this data I get a daily feed of it. So how do I get a daily feed of all the data, not the deltas, right? Not what changed. So So we're working on how do we figure out what those deltas are, those changes, and then apply those changes to the catalog. And then we're going to start working on like how does someone specify what parts they have. And there's a couple ways to do that. You know, I mean, one will be just entering it in, right? You know, just okay, I have I'm trying to say a part number, but I can't even remember the part numbers right now. Okay, so I have these black antennas. Actually, I have black antennas coming in the mail. So I say, okay, I've got 12 of the 4592C02, right? You know, so probably just put that in. But the other thing that we could do is I could say, okay, I bought the green grocer, right? And I want to do something very similar to what you see here, right? This part out, right? So like if I click on this, I get some options here, right? You know, set, part, blah, 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 blah. So let's just say I say set, I have a couple options. So I'm gonna do something very similar to what they're doing here. And then, I think he didn't like something. Let me do a smaller thing, and sure enough, something that I haven't partied out yet, but I will be. It's like this. Try this again. Sets. Yeah, so this set right here. I actually have 3 of these. Right? They were gift with purchases, right? So if you spent so much money, you got one for free, right? Well, I buy enough that I actually have 3 of these things. They're pretty neat looking, right? I mean, so I'll have one that I built, but the other 2 I'm just gonna part out, right? So I have parts for other builds, right? So like I said, I want to be able to do something similar to this, right? Just what do I want to part out? Now what they're going to do in here, oh, this is why it didn't like me. Because it wants me to create a want list. So yeah, so I can do something like this, right? You can get this. Now this is actually creating a want list of things I want, all right? Which honestly, I should be able to do this also, right? So that I can build up, again, things I want. Yes, .NET programmer, I would agree. The Lego instructions generally are more better than most requirement docs you get. I have not done Mindstorms. I usually build 2 main things I build are Star Wars and modular buildings. So sure enough, if we were this is still a work in progress site here, but so like you can see the things that I've here you get an idea of like what I've got ready to build. Although like these 2 pictures are the same, they're supposed to be actually the TIE fighter and the X-wing I built, and I built the flowers. Actually, those flowers were really cool. So, but like right now, this is what I'm working on right now. It's a corner garage, and I'm building a Lego city. So let's see here. Okay, so with this progress bar, if you want to have like sub progress bars, right? So you have like, yes, I will be staying in C#. And sure enough, I plan on using Blazor, right? Because I've only played with Blazor, so my intent is actually use Blazor to really, get some exposure to it. It doesn't. I'm the same way, all right. Program all day long, watch or write other code when I get home. Of course, now get home means I'm home, right? You only program for fun? That's awesome. That's the way to do it. But I will, to Donna's programmer's comment, right? That's what the Lego is for me, right? It's something to get me away from, from writing, from staying behind computers, right? Although I spend plenty of time on the computer also, like designing, like I said, I'm working on a city and I designed my roads, right? Because I didn't use roads that Lego makes. I actually made my own roads. And I spent quite a bit of time on a computer designing what that was going to look like. Let's see here. Again, programmers love this application. So like this is a studio, and I can go in here. So like I was designing this, right? And I built these, right? I actually built these last weekend, right? So I have a three-way stop or three-way intersection, and so I'm using 3 of these, and I have this in the middle, right? So it doesn't really completely get me away from the computer. Okay, so we're gonna have current step processes. Okay, parsing the CSV file. And step progress bar options. Okay. There, that creates my my second level of the progress bar. Pretty soon I should be able to show that progress bar or not in operation. So we should be able to get colors working here relatively quickly. Shouldn't be any updates in colors. I don't think there's any new colors like 2021. I don't think. I really doubt it. So, all right, and then what we're going to do is we're going to create a color mapper. And we're going to say CSV parser. So this is a utility we're using that will parse the comma delimited file for us. Comma separated file, I should say. Whoops. Turn that into color objects. No, I want this to be a CSV parser. New get CSV parser options. Oh, you know what? Because that's my method. And that's just telling it what the delimiter is, which is a comma. That incorrectly. There we go. And then we're going to say parsed results equals CSV parser. And then this is read on file. I am going to eventually type the right things. Okay, then we're going to take the we're going to do the existing data file path colors.csv. Hold on just a second, I will explain that, the dollar sign. So that's doing string interpolation, right? So what that's allowing me to do, you notice I've got the brackets here for this existing data file. So it's allowing me, there we go. It's allowing me to, right within the string, I get to insert data in there, right? So it's essentially the same thing as saying, you know, so I can have like this, right? Let me just copy that. So this would be the same thing as saying like this. I'm sorry, not the... See, I'm so used to doing it, I can't even get myself away from it. Existing file path plus colors.csv, right? So it's basically the same thing as saying that. But it's actually better than saying that. Although in this situation, it's not, doesn't really make that much of a difference. But I do also find it a little bit easier to read, you know, once you know that that's there. And of course, in the ampersand sign, that tells it's a literal string. And I need that because it's a path, so it will have slashes in it. And of course, C#, a slash is an escape character. So we want to escape that. All right, now I need to do one more thing. I need to have this return a list. All right, so that will return that as a list. Let's see here. This is going to return me a list of CSV mapping result colors. So list CSV. What did I say again? Mapping result. CSV mapping result. Go. List. What am I doing wrong here? So, okay, so you wrote a CSV parser yesterday. Yeah. So I've written plenty of them, right? Now I will say, so this, I had not heard of this tiny CSV parser until it was a week and a half ago, when someone in the chat mentioned it. And I really like it. And I'm trying to figure out why, let's see. CSV mapping result. Oh. There we go. All right. And I purposely am getting rid of that var. Right? One, I don't like var. But that's actually not why I'm getting rid of it. We're actually going to copy this code. Because we're gonna do the same thing a bunch of times. As a matter of fact, we're gonna do it twice in this method, right? So we're gonna have a private list of CSV mapper result of T. T get. Oh, you did yours in C++. Okay. Not T there. Get. Let's say, yeah, get CSV data. T. String CSV file name. All right, cool. So I see, and you do all this programming for fun. That's pretty darn cool because you're talking about. Wow, that's pretty cool. I mean, and then to show that you have all these other languages that you work with. I mean, that's pretty impressive. Yes, exactly, minorities. I probably use it more for that than anything else. Formatting, padding, just making things look pretty. All right. Oh, okay. This needs to be. This is going to be T return, but then I also need a. No, that's going to be yeah, T return. But I'm also going to need a T mapper return. Yeah, exactly. Well, but done the program, that's kind of my whole thing, right? I really enjoy writing applications and writing code and looking through system architecture. So I won't say work is easy, but it makes it easier when you really enjoy what you're doing. All right, so then this will be, let's see, this is going to be tmapper. And then, okay, the reason why that is doing that, I have to say, hold on, there's a way to fix this. I gotta remember the syntax again. Is it just where new? Okay, I can't remember if there. Hold on, let me look a little more in here. No, agreed. Agreed. The challenges make it more fun. Type of a name or namespace for tmapper. Okay, I'm a little bit confused why. Oh, because it's not like in this. That's okay. That's what I'm missing. And I knew there was something else. Where tmapper new. That's what I want to say. Now that's working, right? So basically, I'm specifying that this type that I'm passing in has to have a new method because I'm newing it up. So we're going to create a new one there. Could not convert. I think. CSV mapping. Okay, let's do this a little different. So now I can take that out and just take that line out. This will be easier anyways, just to pass that in. Now why is it still complaining? Could not convert IMapper TND. IMapper. Oh. There we go. And then this will be TND. And actually, this will be return instead of creating that. There we go. Let me look at one more thing here, because I might be able to make this. Can I? Variable. Oh, not parser. Yes, it does read the whole thing. Okay, I thought that was going to still cause me a problem. Just wanted to look at that real quick, see if I could pass it a little bit easier. Yes, so this actually reads the whole thing, does it line by line. It's actually really darn quick. It's pretty nice to use. All right, so now I have that. And now we can say in here, we can say something like list CSV mapping result color equals get CSV data color, and then the mapper is going to be color CSV, or I'm sorry, the mapper CSV mapper, and then the file is going to be colors.csv. And I just realized I got one more thing I need to fix. Take that. Put that in there. Okay. Again, this is where interpolation works really nicely because I can just put it right there. It's formatted correctly, so it's nice. All right. All right, and actually, instead of parse results, we'll call this. This was we were loading. Actually, what I did wrong. Hold on. That won't work well. Well, it would work, but it wouldn't do what I wanted to do. This here should be that. Then this will be colors.csv. Okay, so this will, so we're going to say existing data. And then we're going to basically do the same thing. If I could type CSV mapping result color new data. Change this to new data file path. Okay, what are, because it should be that. And then sure enough, you'll notice that it's like in dark. Oh, you made it for Arduino. I love Arduino. I haven't had a chance to play with those in quite some time, but had a lot of fun playing with those a couple years ago. So we can simplify this. And basically what happens here, it's actually getting it from, as I tell it with, here I'm specifying the type, so I don't have to have it here. Now, if I was to do, copy this, and, again, we'll put that back, right? All right, so we go back to here. If I was to make this a var instead, oh, okay, it's actually getting it from the CSV mapper. That's where it's getting it from. But anyway. Yeah, exactly. The memory allocations. Yeah, like I said, I had a lot of fun doing this. I was doing we were building a contraption that would measure the reach distance of somebody, right? So, someone's physical reach, how far they could reach in front of them. And we were using ultrasonic sensors to do the measurements, and that was a fun project. Especially because I was being paid for it, right? I was playing with a 3D printer, Arduino toys. All right. That was a lot of fun. All right. So now what we're going to say in here No, that's going to stay there. Retrieve. Well, I got to admit, to me, 3D printing was a mixed bag, right? Because I swear, I felt like sometimes I was spending more time calibrating than I was printing. Existing data. Okay, so we'll have, so that one progress bar will go to that. Then we'll have another element here. So we'll also progress bar dots tick. And then, it'll automatically increment the tick, or the counter, I should say. But we'll have my message, and here we'll say retrieving new data. Is that how I said it? Yeah. Those really should be small letters with ellipses. Okay. Actually, we can leave that all together. Put a semicolon. All right. So that will get me the two items. And I'm going to do one more thing in here. With this existing, now I'm trying to think if I need to worry about data getting removed. I don't think so. Because I notice what they do is they create new versions. They keep the old ones. So I think we'll be fine. Yeah. Especially 3 years.
Thank you for following. Welcome to TaleLearnCode.
Hey there, Cause dude. Thank you for that.
Thank you for following. Welcome to TaleLearnCode.
And Tark follows. Thank you for that follow. All right, so we're going to retrieve those. Okay, what I want to do with the existing data, I'm going to do one more step in here. I'm going to take that I'm actually going to call this existing data list. All right, and then I'm going to have a dictionary string color, and this will be existing data equals existing data list dot to dictionary we're going to do result dot breakable ID, and then X. Actually, I think, oh, I've got an area even with that. What? Dictionary string mapping result. Seem like a real honest guy. Well, I try to be. Okay, yeah, I kind of figured some problem. I have to do like that. There we go. So that'll turn it into a dictionary. So I thought Just checking something. I thought I wrote something. Maybe not. Okay. Yeah, we'll just deal with it that way. So that gets there. We retrieve the data. Now we need to just, now we'll go through the new data, and it will look to see for matching data and the existing data, right? So I'm gonna say progress bar tick comparing new and old data. And then we're going to say using child progress bar. This should be 8. No, that's right. So I'm just curious, did McNerney's just realize there's a lurking emote, or is McNerney's actually lurking? %, writing code, 80% finding the code I want to steal from different projects. I mean, I literally, well, I have the code I wrote the other day over here, right? Ah, tossing the thinking thing. All right. Code release is important. I definitely agree with that. All right. So I'm going to say, I'm going to create a third progress bar. This will be using child progress bar, and this one we'll call it the parse progress bar. Equals progress bar dot spawn, and then this will be new data dot count, or no, yeah, dot count. Processing record 1 of new data dot count. What is this not liking? Oh, I need to close my quotes. 4 million. Yes, yes. So as long as code, what? Or binaries, or if it's any Perl code. All right, we're using any Perl code. That's probably evil too. Yeah, that's right. Okay. Well, I know I'm thinking of something here I wanted to look at here. Use length count. I've never seen this message before. Use length count when available. Oh, okay. I see. It's because I put the... All right, now the one thing I do want to do in here is we're going to say if new data any. All right, so we'll first, we'll make sure we actually have data to process. All right, and then what I'm going to do, and I really should go ahead and say, and existing data. You know what? It would help if I spell existing right. Well, I mean, 40 million seems like a lot, but I've definitely seen code bases like that. All right, so we're gonna make sure, you know, we're gonna run this if both of these have anything here. I probably should add some error handling here, because if those are both empty, we're probably got a problem, right? But we'll look at that later. And then we're gonna say for each result in new data. And then now that we have that, now what we can say is it should be result. Is this going to be result? Goodness, I can't type result. I think, yeah. Let's not name that result. We'll name this color. Fook is very, 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 very. Oh goodness. I don't know. I don't know if I really remember high school anymore. Okay, so now we're going to say, okay, now we're going to go through each one of these colors and we're going to say if, exactly, chinks in stone. I'm sure it's what my daughter thinks. I've seen store procedures, not good store procedures. I actually have seen store procedures more than 7,000 lines of code, but that was not a good thing. All right, we're gonna say if existing data contains, now we're gonna say not new data, color dot result dot rubricable ID. And then we're going to have the else, because if it doesn't exist, we're going to add the record to Gremlin, Cosmos, whatever. And here, this is going to be, all right, well, so we see that that exists. So then we're going to look at the data itself. A color has rubricable ID. Okay, well, rubricable ID we can't check. We're going to be checking name, RGB, and is translucent. Those are the values we're going to check for. So we'll say if, actually, if existing data, try get value, and then the key will be color.result.rubricable ID, and then out color, existing color. And then, so this will this try get, it'll basically what it'll do this if key exists or contains key type thing, and if it does, then it'll go ahead and grab that value, right? Hey, C-Films, how's it going? I'm doing wonderful. How's your week been shaping up? Or the very beginning of the week. Then we'll just do simple comparisons, right? So we'll say if existing color dot results dot, actually let's do something here. Let's do color, existing color equals existing color result, and then let's say color, existing color equals existing color result dot result. Okay, and then sure enough, right here, I'm going to do. Let's actually change. Well, no, that's fine. We'll say. Well, you know what? I'm going to name this. Just to be kind of consistent. We're going to name this color result. Well, and Sarah, that means I've coded more than your I probably have coded more than your entire life. All right, so McFly is on GitHub. Awesome. So McFly is C-Film's programming language that he's been working on. All right. So, then I was going to say color, new color equals color result dot result. All right. And then we can make this just a little bit simpler. Should be new color. You program most of your life, started with PHP. So I programmed most of my life. And I started with BASIC. And that was in 1977. Not that you asked me to review your code, but I just wanted to take a look real quick. I just wanted to see. Cool. I'm also almost 50. I have not been working for the same company for 24 years. Never really learned BASIC. I don't think I have to catch my own bugs. I think my bugs just show up. Usually in large quantities too. Yeah, I mean, again, I started developing, like I said, in the mid to late 70s, all depending on what you call 77, right? But basic, Visual Basic, yeah. So I did. Well, I mean, I started with Microsoft Basic, and then actually in between I did something called SIRS, which I don't even remember what that was based off of anymore. Something my father was working on. I did some work for him, but then I did what was it? Basic, then Quick Basic, or no, was it GW Basic, then Quick Basic, then Visual Basic, then Visual Basic.net, alongside with C#. Plus, obviously, JavaScript. Like I say, I've never really done anything with Python. I read Python, but I don't really write it. C. Done very little in C++. Not enough to really remember it. What else have I played with? SQL, HTML, those kind of languages. I don't know. I'm sure there's others I'm just not thinking of. I did assembly way a long time ago. But not, I mean, again, that's been so, I mean, as a kid, I did assembly. All right, so now we've got this, and then we're going to do a simple comparison, right? So we're going to say if new color dot name doesn't equal existing color dot name, or new color dot RGB doesn't equal existing color RGB, existing color RGB, or new color dot is translucent doesn't equal existing color is translucent. Hey Winix, how's it going? So we're gonna do that simple comparison. I really can't think of a simpler way of doing this. There might be, but I can't think of one off the top of my head. Well, I could, so you can't just say if new color doesn't equal existing color, right? Because that would be a reference check, not a value check. I could overwrite the equals, all right, and basically do this. But I don't know if I end up using it somewhere else, then that might make sense, right? And we can copy and paste it, right? But I think for now, I think this works just fine. All right, so if are the colors flags? No, they're colors. I mean, they're data representations of colors, right? So colors. So as you can see, I mean it's a very simple data set, but it's just, yeah, I could plop them in tuples, but I mean, that would work, but I really would think that would be adding complexity to code to not really get much benefit.
Thank you for following. Welcome to TaleLearnCode.
Who just followed? Oh, okay, .NET Programmer. I don't know why it's not showing up in the chat, though. Huh. Well, .NET program. Thank you for that follow. There it is. Oh, okay. So, like I say, if I was to use this anywhere else, I would overwrite the equals method, right? You want to be careful overwriting that, but I could overwrite the equals method and do that validation, right? And then I could do a, if I was to do that, then I could say something like if new color doesn't equal existing color, right? And that would work. Like I say, the problem with this, and this is something a lot of new C# developers get caught into. All right. Well, thank you for someone as young as you. Yeah. well. Good evening. Thank you for coming along for a while, and hopefully we'll see you next time. Yeah, this is something I see a lot of new developers get caught into, right? They're like, oh, I just do that, right? And they just miss the fact that, that these are reference checks. They're not value checks. And it's kind of hard to, I think that's hard to understand, right? So, I don't fault new developers for that. Plus, I think experienced developers sometimes forget that and make the mistake. All right. So if this happens, all right, so what we're going to do in here, let's see here, we're going to have a string query. Actually, I don't really need to do it there. I can just recreate this string every time. String query. And we are going to have this as a string.empty. Yeah. And then, so what we're going to do in here is if, this means we need to do an update, right? In Python, you have, yes. Yeah. I'll put it this way. If there is something like that in C#, I don't remember it being in there. And I know for a fact equals does a reference equals. So I'm going to say query. Do you code the fastest in the C#? If not, what program language are you the fastest at? Probably C#. Yeah. It's interesting. If you asked me that about 5 years ago, it was Visual Basic, even though I did both of them a lot. But I was still, it's kind of funny. Like my wife is not a native English speaker. And, I sometimes feel the same way as she did, right? Where I would program, in my head I was programming VB, but I would have to think of it, I have to say C#, right? I knew I was doing a translation in my head. And that's why every once in a while you'll see me, because I did BASIC for so long. And even though, like I said, I've done C# since C# came out, right? Well, actually, technically before it came out. Because I was doing the beta stuff, but it was really about 5 years ago when I really started doing it on a daily basis, and maybe a little bit more, 5 years, I don't know. But every once in a while, you'll see me. Like if you watch me stream long enough, you'll see me. I'll start writing VB. I don't even think about it. All right. Although it's getting less and less. All right, query equals. Okay, so this is going to be. So in here now we're gonna write the gremlin query that will update the. I have not tried Go, and I actually would like to take a look at it. Who was it? Who was I just talking to? Jeremy Clark. He's been doing some stuff in Go recently. And I was actually having a conversation with him last week. And, it sounded really interesting what he's working on. And I need to look a little bit more into that. Very busy. Oh, no, VB is short for Visual Basic. My code can be very busy, but yeah, VB is short for Visual Basic. All right, so this is going to be a Gremlin syntax. So we're going to, all Gremlin code starts with a G dot, and then we're going to search for the item. I'm sorry, V. Then we're going to search. Oh, you had the question mark, so that's why I wasn't sure. See, at first I took it as a joke, but then I saw the question mark, so I thought, oh, maybe that was a question. I did too. I think it was funny. All right, so so everything starts with a G dot, right? And then we're going to search for vertexes, and I have the ID, which is the best way to go search for this thing, right? So we're gonna say, I'm doing this a little bit the hard way. Query. I've looked at Rust. I haven't really tried it. So GV, and then we're gonna say existing color.id. I've done a little bit in F#, but more or less just playing with it, seeing what it can do, right, and what the difference is, right? Just enough so I knew what the difference was. I have not tried Q#. I actually saw something like a 30 days to get to know Q# or something like that. Maybe it wasn't 30 days. And I really thought about looking that up, but then I couldn't find it again. I need to find that again because it looked interesting to do. Although, honestly, I gotta admit, quantum is, quantum computing is probably a little bit above my head, in all honesty. But it would be cool to see a little bit of it, see how some of it works and so forth. All right. So there, that's going to return us the vertex, and then I just change the property values, right? It's as simple as that. You say dot property, and then we're going to say in here, we could. What I could do, this would actually make this query just a little bit better. And this is actually where the equality check doesn't need to be this way. So new color. And I know I got a red squiggly. Okay, so if new color name doesn't equal existing color, whoops. Existing color.name. Then we're going to say what? Oh. I accidentally closed that. I looked at Erlang before, but it's probably about it. And sure enough, I've looked at a lot of languages. I've actually, I've done Java. I have done Java, but I've looked at a lot of languages where I've read it enough Like Haskell. I've read Haskell, right? But I've never actually written programs in it, right? All right, so then what I'm going to say is, I'm going to do that. I'm going to, instead of a string, I'm going to make this a string builder. Equals new. All right, and then we're going to say, query.append, and we'll say dot property name, and then the new color name. All right, so I'm gonna do it like that, right? Like, the answer to that question is yes. All right. You know, with C#, it's not really one style, especially when you look at those options, right? You know, I mean, by default, it's object-oriented programming, right? Now, granted you, not that people are using the object-oriented functionality of it, right? But I mean, I come from an OOP background, right? I mean, even when I was doing Visual Basic, I was writing OOP because I mean, I learned that a long time ago. It just made a whole lot of sense. But then, like, you look at C#, you know, like if you're doing Link, you're doing functional, right? You know, and more stuff, you know, like a lot of the new features that are getting added to C# come from a functional background, right? So it really is a mix of a lot of that. And a lot is because that's the way how the C# language has matured, right? All right, then we're just gonna do this. I'm actually gonna copy this. So we got name, we've got RGB. And we're gonna have is translucent. This to RGB. And we'll change this to RGB. Oops. And then this to is translucent. Imperative and functional, that would make sense. I've lost my mouse pointer. Oh, you know what? Hold on a second. No, that's not open right now. Let me make sure Synergy isn't running. It is running. Let me stop Synergy so that every once in a while I lose my mouse pointer because I'm using Synergy, which is like a virtual KVM, right? And allows me to use my mouse and keyboard on multiple computers. And it's really annoying when the laptop is actually closed, but it like never powers down, right? So it's always on, right? Yeah, but a lot of languages, most languages are really like that, right? You know, when you really blow down to it, the way how they do the naming. All right. So then, what I'm gonna do here. So then we're gonna say if second. Where is... Yeah, that's in the right place. Okay. So then we'll say if query dot length is greater than 0. Then we're going to say query dot append. No, this is where this is weird. Let's do this a little bit differently. So instead of query, let's call this new query. And then I'm going to say if, oh, hold on. So in here, we're going to have a string query equals string.empty. Okay, and then, so here I'm going to say if new query length is greater than 0. Then we're going to say query equals, and this will be g dot v. So we're going to go grab that. So existing color dot id. And then new query. Yep. Just like that. Okay. And then basically in the end, this will be, so g.v and then the ID. All right. There we go, the ID. And then you just do dot property.
Thank you for following. Welcome to TaleLearnCode.
And it'll do these. Now hold on a second. I just thought of something. Hey, Smack Attack. Thank you for that. I just thought about something though. Hold on. Let me verify something. That is an interesting way of doing it, but I just thought about something.
Thank you for following. Welcome to TaleLearnCode.
And Ozark. Probably horribly mispronounced that, but thank you for the follow. Well, let me make sure, because I can't remember if partial updates are here yet. And if they are, if Cosmos DB partial updates. Okay, yeah. So this isn't going to work. I completely forgot about this, right? You can't do partial... Gremlin allows partial updates, but Cosmos does not have the ability to do that. So, that was a very interesting idea, but that's not going to work. But boy, that was an interesting way of doing it. Because that would be better. You know, the way how Gremlin itself works, right? Updating just the properties actually is a more partial updates. In other words, allowing me to update like just a property within a document. And Cosmos does not have the ability yet. It is, I mean, as you see right here, it is, work has started. And I'm going to leave it at that. Yeah, I mean, as you can see, people are not very happy about that. But yeah. So never use Azure. No. Yeah, I mean, this is a Cosmos thing, and it's actually because of the way how the documents. So the thing you have to understand about Cosmos, which gives us this power, all right? So Cosmos, really? Yeah, it should be in this article. Really? I thought that. Because I know I've seen this article before. I'm looking for a graphic. So Cosmos can actually do Mongo, right? I'm about to break up my because this is getting ridiculous. Hold on a second, let's do this. Actually, let me leave that folder open. Getting some visual aids to show some things here. So, all right. So one of the things about Cosmos, all right? So Cosmos is actually able to support a whole bunch of different data APIs, is the way how they refer to them, right? So normally when you think about Cosmos, you're thinking about the core of the SQL API, right? Right now we're working on this Gremlin. But like you see, Mongo's in here, right? And it's full support for Mongo. You can do Cassandra, you can do Table API, etcds, you know, so you can do Kubernetes stuff with it. And part of the way how this all happens, here we go, is this Atom resource sequence, right? That's why I was looking up. Well, I need to look up ARS. That would have helped me. So they have what they call this Atom resource sequence, right? And this is the way how everything gets stored, regardless of what data API is being used. Everything gets broken down into an Atom resource sequence, right? So your just like in chemistry, right? Your atom's your smallest thing, right? So it's just hey man, so that's going on. So like so your individual properties and that type of stuff, right? Make that up. I actually keeps them at the document level, but at any rate, and then you have a sequence and so forth, right? So that's one of the powers of Cosmos, is the fact that they do that, right? It's one of the reasons why you can have these different data APIs. You would think it would also be one of the not that you would think. It should be one of the reasons why you should be able to go back and forth, right? The Microsoft team has not released that yet. That's been talked forever. What was I going to say? But because of the way how the ARS works, it causes some problems with the partial updates. All right, because the ARS is a document, right, and that's where they're having a hard time with it. Yeah, I would think that C++ would be a big change from JavaScript to TypeScript. I can see that. You have a love-hate relationship with it. Well, partial update is the idea of updating just one item in a document, right? So So if we look at here, let me. Yeah, and then let me say name has.
Thank you for following. Welcome to TaleLearnCode.
Hey, the ham bone. Thank you for that follow. So, like, if you look at this, right? So this is the document that represents the color black, all right? And you can see, I kind of went all out for my alerts. Well, ignore the user ID. That's something different. But look, name, RGB, IDS translucent, replicable ID. So those are my properties. What I can't do yet, this is eventually coming, although it's been at work since the beginning of Cosmos. I can't just like change the name to like new black or what have you, right? Whatever they want to if they rename the color, right? I actually have to change the whole document, which is kind of a bummer, right? And again, like I said, I kind of forgot that. Mongo is I am from Kentucky, yes. You know what I can't remember? Yes. Yep, I run several of those meetups. Cosmos. I think even the partial updates in yeah. Well, that's indexed. Yeah, I'm not so sure, and I've only Mongo on Cosmos. I've only done for demonstration purposes. I don't. All right, cool. So you're down Lexington, awesome, or near Lexington. But yeah, no, I'm in Louisville, just south of the airport. To give you perspective. Yeah, so it's interesting. I don't know. I actually don't know. The fact that I'm not seeing, maybe it is supported in the Mongo. But I bet you if it is, it's doing something underneath the covers. Because like I say, the underlying data sequence for Cosmos is what prevents that from working. All right, so I'm going to have to do this the way how I did have this. So new color name doesn't equal existing color name, or new color RGB doesn't equal existing color RGB, or new color is translucent doesn't equal existing color is translucent. Well, like I say, I don't know what they're doing for partial updates in Mongo. I mean, and maybe somehow it is supported Mongo. But if it is, then it kind of blows the whole of why they've been having a hard time getting it to work. So then here we're going to say start with this. And then we'll do property. So this user ID, it's just always going to be catalog. That's my partition key. I'm not really worried about the partition keys, but you have to have a partition key. This data is never going to go over the 20 gigabytes. This catalog data will never go over the 20 gigabytes, and it's in its own database. But like I said, I need it, so I started with user ID, so I'm continuing with it. So we'll have name, and then new color name, and then property RGB, new color RGB, and property is translucent. Just checking something here. Yeah. Is translucent. Whoops. New color is translucent. Okay. I mean, it does actually make a few lines of code, but the partial update would have been nice. All right, I don't need these. All right, so then I don't need that. Okay. So that handles if the existing data was there. Now, if we don't have existing data, which means it's a new item, all right, then you like the keyboard sound, or the keyboard sound is annoying. I mean, I guess it could depend on how you look at it. So then the query keyboard's good. Yeah, I really like this keyboard. Yep, it's brown. Okay, this is going to be okay, that's interesting. Okay. Yeah, I really like the browns. The other ones are a little bit too clicky. Well, I mean, or you get not enough, tactile feedback. The blue is just too much. It's funny. My wife's keyboard's got the blue. Well, they're knockoff blues. They're not real cherry switches. These are real cherry switches. Okay, what I do want to do, I have this returning nothing right now. I actually, yeah, I've got a friend in town who's a keyboard fanatic and does that kind of stuff. All right, we're actually going to return a dictionary of string color. And then what we're going to do here, blah, 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 we are going to say, I need to create dictionary string color results. Or that's, yeah, results. Actually, let's call this return value. And I should move that up. All right, then on here we're going to say return value dot add one second. Yeah, okay, I know what I'm new color dot ID equals existing color dot ID, and then we're going to say return value dot add new color dot ID new color. Most of these are going to be, you know, especially once we get to, like, parts and everything, these are not going to change, right? Especially in here, this is getting changes, right? But we're going to grab from the color. Won't that query code risk a problem where stuff can be injected or break syntax? Well, sure enough, to break syntax, I'm glad you said that, because I do need to do something to fix that. No, you actually brought up a really good point that I probably wouldn't have seen until we wouldn't have noticed it with color. I do need this, my string cleanup, which will, the two things I know I need to find are slashes and single quotes, right? I know I need to find those. Yeah, no, exactly. So I'm glad you brought that up. Now, as far as injection, you know, like a SQL injection, I'm gonna go to the extreme of. So yes, it does. In here, again, I know where the data is coming from, so this isn't user inputted data. So I'm not cleaning up as much. And in here, I know RGB is going to be fine. I know translucent is going to be fine. I am going to go ahead and say string cleanup. New color name. All right, and then, okay, then our else, so this means it's going to be a new color. Actually, that's right, because I can't do partial, oh, no. Yeah. Okay, yeah, the query is slightly different. So in here, because here we're going to add, we're going to do add v, so add that vertex. And hey, Jack, how's it going? It's been a while since we've seen you around. All right, and then here, so on this add syntax, it's slightly different. So first, I'm going to give it. It's going to give it the label type, right? So this will be color, and then we just do property, right? So same thing otherwise, right? You know what? I can actually copy this. But then one other thing I want to do, property. No, I want that. Yeah, oh yeah, property. I usually put my partition key first, even before my ID. And just gonna do that for a second. Yeah, exactly, Sarah. All right, let me do new color dot ID equals GUID new GUID string, and then in here I can now say new color dot ID. Okay. And then here we're going to say return value add new color.id, new color. And you know what, actually, I don't need to do that two different places. I can do it right here. Well, I mean, we were talking earlier about, you know, lots of lines of code. I mean, it's crazy how quickly you get a lot of lines of code. I mean, look, I've already got 174 lines of code. I'm not doing that much yet. All right. It's probably going to be around 450 lines of code. If I wasn't, you know, if I didn't have, like, you know, these methods here, it would be more lines of code, because, but, you know, I'm encapsulating because that's the way you do it, right? All right, so now yeah. So then if we get this, then at the bottom here, on the bottom of for each, if not string is null, I like add the extra or white space, and then say query. Then we're going to do await gremlin. I got caps turned on. Gremlin client dot submit async dynamic. Where am I going? It's because I'm looking at another piece of code. Query. Well, that's because I couldn't type. It's dynamic. And unfortunately, I have to make that dynamic, which causes, you know, some other code I have causes me so much heartache to get that to work right. All right, so that will, you know, that'll send the data over to the Gremlin server, right? Cosmos. Actually, yeah, I agree with that. Star Trek Technobabble. Now, I will say this will work on any Gremlin server, right? I need to return that. That's why I got rid squiggly. So it does not have to be just Cosmos, right? Now, grant you, I took some extra steps, right, because of the whole partial update thing. Other than that, but I mean that works fine. I mean, the steps I took work fine on a regular Gremlin server. Return value. Okay, so there we go. So then, oh, I need one other thing here. Yeah, you gotta be careful with async code. Progress bar. So here, I created a progress bar. Okay, Okay, so what I want to say, I'm going to add one more thing here. We're going to have an int counter equals 1. Counter plus plus, and then parse progress bar? Yeah. Parse progress bar dot tick. And then my message is going to be it's just going to be very simple. Counter of new data dot count. There we go. All right, so that should do color. All right. So now I should be able to go here and to this, not to this one, to here, and we should be able to say dictionary string color colors equals await update colors gremlin client and then progress bar. And why am I getting and sure enough, I should call this, well, we should do that correctly, update colors async. I really don't like the async suffix, but it has become standard. All right, so there, that should do that, right? So now, we go to this daily data load console app, add a project reference to CSV data, and then we're going to go in here and so hold on, I'm going to do one thing. I'm going to cheat with something real quick. But I'm going to make sure I don't dox myself. Okay. So for the moment, I have this settings file. I've hard-coded my values in there. I need to actually fix that and do it a better way. But this is gonna, to get this just working, this will work. So we're gonna start off with creating a Cosmos settings. Equals new. Okay. And then, so in here we got to give it these values, all right? Okay, so we're going to say host equals settings dot host port equals settings dot port enable SSL equals settings dot enable SSL count key equals settings. This one I call it primary key. Database equals database, and container equals settings container. This is not the right way of doing it, right? You know, having that in a hard-coded. But this is what I normally do with demo code, right? Because I want to be able to change it easily. And once I actually get this more working, then I will do that. I probably will make it environmental settings. It's probably the right way of doing this. Well, I say that. I want to see how long it takes to run this. I might actually run this. I might eventually make this into an Azure function, right? And maybe an Azure durable function, right? Which actually would speed some things up. And when I do that, then the settings will go in the proper place for an Azure function, right? All right. So last what am I thinking? So we've got that. So now we're going to say we're going to do a load data. Jack, that is a good thing because I'm actually noticing I've been sitting in this chair for way too long. But I'm not going to stand because I have my shoes off. But I am at least straighten myself up here. All right, so we're going to do load data equals new. Load data. No, I don't need to do it that way. Equals new. Minorius, I gotta admit, I'm kind of thinking about that. I think that I just might have a water-based beverage after the stream. All right, Cosmos settings. So we're going to do that, and then we're going to say load data dot load data dot load daily, which means I'm going to make this in a wait. Existing data, new data. I gotta get those values. We need to await this. I hate that it does that. Okay. So then. That's not the folder I want this one. So the existing data. Just to make sure, yeah, existing was first. And again, I wouldn't normally hard code it like this. Well, I would actually. I probably would, but eventually, I would like to make that so, so it goes out to. Why do I have 3 messages in here? Oh, they're older messages even. Go to other downloads. So here's this data. I would like to eventually make this. I wonder if these change. I need to see if these links change every day. I'm not sure what they do, but you see, like, they're updated every day around 9 o'clock in the morning. So we're just going to download colors right now. And we're going to create a new folder called New Lego Database. And we're going to copy that in. We're going to extract this. And then I'm going to copy this. And put this right here. Okay. So make this the startup project, and let's see what happens. And I'm gonna, I'm gonna put, because I'd be willing to bet this is colors, right? I mean, what is the likelihood that a color changed in like 2 months? There is some likelihood because a lot of new sets come out on January 1st. And this is like December 29th. So there's some possibility. Although I'd be willing to bet that data was already loaded by December 29th. So I wanted to do, one, that method should be used. So there we go. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a breakpoint right here. And I'm going to put a breakpoint right here. I just want to see, actually I'll put it on the new color ID. I just want to see if if it hits one of those two, right? And if it does, I want to see, I actually want to step through, I want to see it work. So I'm going to run this. Yeah, we're gonna. Oh. I need to put the trailing slashes there. Lego database colors. I wonder, although it's not there, I'm getting. File name, directory, or volume labels incorrect. All right, well, let's take a look. I mean, I copied and pasted it. How could it be incorrect? This is, whoops. This is, here, I can close that folder. I mean, C down, users down, da 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 da. How could that be wrong? What's complaining about? Oh, wait. No, I see what you're saying. Yeah, what is going on there? So there's existing. Ah. I bet I know what it is. Oops. Accidentally moved. Yep. I see what the problem is. There we go. Does it do anything? You've got my curiosity up. What's going on here? All right, this might be... We were seeing this last week or the week before. Gotta get stuck somewhere. If I rerun it, it seems to work. It's something, I think like a connection's not getting closed correctly. There you see the progress bars. But again, actually, oh no, I got another error. Could not find file. New Lego database colors CSV. Colors CSV. Oh, not C.
Thank you for following. Welcome to TaleLearnCode.
Yeah, they're code enrich. Yeah, we're not looking for a drugstore. Object reference not set to an object. What is it not liking here? New color is null. So that's telling me it's not. Hey there, code enrich. Telling me it's not getting the data correctly. That's what that's telling me. So new data. So 186 rows. Oh, why are we having that problem again? Color. Oh, well, wait a second. Look at this. So December 29th, they had zeros and ones. Today, today they have F's and T's. Oh, goodness. Oh, goodness, goodness, goodness. I'm going to have old color mapper and new color mapper. I can copy this. And then, all right, so this is going to be, so here we're going to say new, old color mapper. And then here we're going to say new color mapper. And then I won't need that one. Actually, because I'm gonna copy and paste this later on. Let me do like that. I have a build error. Oh. Still getting that. Why are we getting a null value? What is null value? Let's go ahead and step through this whole thing. Okay, so we're in here. So there we got the existing data list. Turn it into a dictionary. Here we're going to get the new list. All right. So I'm just going to check some data here. Still got a error. Well, lovely. Look at this error message. It's like no real error message. What happened to existing data? And existing data is not working. What a horrible... I mean, I'm not... This is just going to turn me 186 errors with no messages in the, you know, no... Oh, wait. Oh, hold on a second. It's not an error. Oh, error. No. Okay. Never mind. Never mind. It just looks weird. Okay. So if new data any, which it will. Okay. Color result. Okay, so now I have a new color. Okay, I'm gonna get my existing color. We were getting an error, weren't we? We were, I don't know where it's coming. Okay, so name, RGB is translucent. Name, RGB is translucent. Okay. Those are going to equal to fine. ID. Oh, this ID is null. Oh. Duh. What I need to be doing yeah, okay. I see what the problem is. So the ID comes from this system, not from the original, not from where this data is originating from, right? So what I need to do is I need to be updating that CSV or create a new CSV, whatever, all right, that has that ID along with the other fields in it. And that needs to be, you know, on that big data upload or daily updates, it needs to do that. So that's where the problem is. All right, but with that being said, I actually do need to wrap up for the evening because I have something I have to do tonight. And, you know, that's going to take me at least an hour, if not maybe even 90 minutes or so. So I'm going to have to wrap up here. I was really hoping to get color done. But that, I know what I need to do. Actually, I should have left those breakpoints in there. But it's going to take me more than a couple minutes. So, with that being said, let's take a look. Again, I really do appreciate everyone joining tonight. Let's take a look at who we can raid. Yeah, I didn't think Harold was going to be... I would have raided Harold tonight. But I think he's got power issues because he's in Texas. Let's see who on my live code team.
Deanna did us a favor.
Yes.
By
Well, Fierce Kitten's playing games, but well, let's go to Talk to Me Gooseman. He'll be on for, I know, at least another hour. And you can see, he's starting a Rails project to Phoenix. So that should be interesting. Sorry about that. There we go. Come on. Okay. Well, raid. All right, again, everyone, I really do appreciate you hanging out with me. It was lots of great conversation. I really do appreciate that. I will be back on Wednesday evening, 8 p.m. Eastern Time. And I hope to see you all then. Loka, thank you. Thank you so much. All right, everyone. See ya.